Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. Today we're going to look at my top 10 tiny little EDC fixed blade knives. I'm going to say these are going to come in well under 6 inches, and they're going to start out with, go from largest kind of to smallest, and this is my Jakeb Creates Chikadee in MagnaCut. I'm a huge Chikadee fan. This is my Chikadee in 20CV, and this is my flat grind full flat Chikadee in S90V. Guys, the Chikadee is a fantastic little knife. It's a 5-inch knife overall with a right under 2.5-inch blade, 2.5-inch handle, and 2.25-inch cutting area. Very comfortable for me. I either carry this knife appendix right to the right of my belt buckle with one strap, or I carry it as a pocket dropper in my Oak City leather slip. This is how I typically carry it, just in my back pocket with the clip in. A great little knife for everyday cutting, opening packages, cutting paracord, opening food packaging, blister packaging, you name it. It is a great little cutter. I wouldn't process a ton of cardboard with it, as nor would I with any of these littler knives, but for a small everyday carry, they're a little bit on the higher side price-wise, but they're USA made by a dude named Jakeb Creates. And I think they're a fantastic little knife, so much that I've bought 3 over the years, and that is the Jakeb Creates Chikadee. And again, we're moving on kind of in size. So next, we've got a knife from Marlborough Handcraft. Marlborough Handcraft is another USA maker and makes knives of all shapes and sizes, but makes this little knife that I just fell in love with. This is the Little Prick by Marlborough Handcraft. It's a little, if I'm not mistaken, ABL stainless steel blade. Super slicey, full flat ground blade that is literally like a laser beam. Nice little handle. I can get a full 3 fingers in this grip. Like the Chikadee, there's no lanyard hole, but it is a very comfortable little knife. Again, a small knife, not designed to process a ton of cardboard or work through a lot of material. This is going to come in right about 4 5/8, right under 5 inches. Great little knife, perfect plunges, handcrafted, USA made, nice micarta handles, stainless pins, great little Kydex sheath. This is the Marlborough Handcraft Little Prick. It is one of my favorite small EDC fixed blades, and it is a banger. Moving on, we come to kind of a unique little knife that is a great back pocket carry or secondary carry. This is my Superlative Hela. The Hela is a little knife that's offered either with this Mars carbon fiber, fat carbon, or you can get it in black, I think micarta in there, or you can get it skeletonized. It's a little chunk of M390 fashioned into a little flat ground blade that is just a laser beam like the others. Just a great little EDC cutter, whether you're carrying it as a backup, which is how I usually carry this, as a backup carry in this little Superlative leather sheath. It just flushes up. I put it with the pocket clip right in my back pocket, sit on it. It's not uncomfortable at all. It does have a lanyard hole if you want to put a lanyard on it, but I can get a full 3 on this little sheep's foot blade. If I wanted to, I could take those center panels out if I wanted to cut a little bit of weight out of it. I don't think that's necessary, and I kind of like them. And this guy comes in about the same size as the Little Prick, just a hair under 5 inches. So right under 5-inch knife with a 2 1/16 inch cutting area. right about a 2 1/8 inch blade, 3 inches from the choil to the back of the handle there. So really nice little, I think it's Riot is the OEM for Superlative. And this is their little Hela in M390, a little kind of pocket EDC fixie. So that's a great one there. Moving on, we come to a knife that I've had several of. This one's super special. This one was gifted to me by brother Joe Isabella, who made the scales for it. This is the TwoSun TS150. This is the first small fixed blade I got from White Mountain Knives, because it listed for around $60 in S90V, which this one is, and it came with G10 handles. I think I bought 3 of these and given them away. And then when Joe sent me this one with the custom carbon fiber scales, I knew I finally had my TS150 keeper. I can recommend this knife to anyone looking for a small EDC fixed blade. Going to come in much less expensive than the Jakeb Creates Chikadee. And I think it's a very high quality small knife. It is a Wong design collaboration, and the little TS150 comes in at 4.5 inches overall. It's got right over a 2 1/4 inch blade, right over a 2 1/4 inch little handle, nice little 3 inch blade, 3 inch grip, comes with a Kydex sheath. I'll put an ulti clip on it because I carry this in my back pocket too. But you can get this little guy in carbon fiber, which wouldn't be Joe Isabella's carbon fiber. But I've seen these come through White Mountain Knives with a M390 blade and a carbon fiber handle for about 63 bucks. I don't know if the S90s still are coming through, but it's the TwoSun TS150, a banging little EDC fixed blade. The next one is a custom JKal from brother Jason Grant, and this is one he made up, just a little self-defense poker, a little cat food opening hand axe, for lack of a better term. It is a very thick blade, very slicey, very pokey, more pokey than slicey. You could stick this probably through a car door if you needed to. It's got this beautiful Ultim handle, this kind of this dark Ultim that he's left rough, Jason has, but it's got that classic grip that gives you that choil that's just really forward pushing, just feels great in the hand. I mean, this little knife, I can get a full 4 fingers on it. It's more grip than blade, but it feels just fantastic. It's going to come in right under 5 inches. We're going to call it about a 2-inch blade with about right under 2-inch cutting area and a grip of right under 3.5 inches. So I can get a full 4 there. I've got this set up to carry as a neck knife. That's how I carry this little guy, but it carries great that way. Rides under my shirt. It's a Jakeb, Jason Grant. I call it my little custom JKal poker. Great little knife. Moving on, and we're getting a little smaller each time, guys. So this is my Aries EDC Pedal. This is a knife that was gifted to me by a dear brother in the community. Knew I would like it. Had it made. Glow carbon fiber with glow G10 up around that bolster. Black G10 pins. Little glow carbon fiber bead. I think it's 80 CRV2. Great little knife. Kind of a beefy little blade, but very, very slicey. A great little daily cutter. I carry this with a single leather strap on my belt to the right of my belt buckle, right about, call it, say, 11:45, almost 12 o'clock, almost straight up. So I carry it. It's very easy to access. This little guy is going to be a little bit smaller, the Petal, and Aries EDC, Scott makes these knives in all different sizes. So I'm just showing you small ones, but most of these makers have big knives too. This is going to come in right about 4 3/4 overall, a little bit larger than that. It's going to have a 2 1/4 inch blade with a 2-inch cutting area and a 2 3/4 inch handle right there. So that's 2 3/4 inches, and then you've got the lanyard that gives you a little more. A very well done Kydex sheath. I have carried this also with an ulti clip, actually a deep concealment clip. It's got a nice thick comfortable handle, and I just prefer this. I found this really nice leather single solo strap, and that's what I mounted on. I think it looks good on it, and it carries it just very well. This is my Aries EDC Pedal. Moving on, and again, we're going to lengths, and we're getting down there to number 10, our last one. But this is a super cool neck knife that I can also wear if I'm wearing a dress shirt. Just use the pocket clip and put it in my shirt pocket because it's very, very light. But this is an Amsler Tools Mini Hurricane. The Mini Hurricane, this particular one, is a solid piece of MagnaCut. Heat treated about 63. You've got this nice Tanto point, skeletonized with a couple of O-rings to give you a little grip. Titanium clip. This is an absolute slicer, whether I'm trying to get into packaging, whether I'm trying to, you know, open one of those crazy blister packs. This will do it because you've got that very sharp tip. It's also kind of a deterrent if someone were to try to steal your Slurpee. This is a great little something, set souvenir to leave behind in them when they start to leaking. Great little blade. Amsler is a USA guy who makes these knives, makes another knife that we're going to look at here in a second. But this is called the Hurricane. This happens to be the Mini, which is the smaller. You can get this. I've got it in a standard size, which is a good bit larger. This little guy is going to measure in right at 4 1/4 inches overall, with an 1 1/4 inch blade, a 3-inch handle, and right at an 1 1/4 cutting area when you look at that whole Tanto. You can get this at a Warncliffe, or you can get it in this Tanto. Has a great little Kydex sheath that locks it in for life. I've got it on a titanium chain because it's barely, don't even feel it. It's just a really, really light skeletonized neck knife. This is the Amsler Tools Hurricane. Just a little banger. So moving on, we come to a killer little knife I'm getting ready to review. This just came into me last week from TKell. Little Don Pace inspired, who's Tim Kell and Suzanne Kell's dad, Tim Kell's father-in-law. This is a knife, the DP-1, that they made kind of as a monument to him, right? He has carried a small fixed blade, very much like this, that my understanding is Tim took the knife designed from him to make him this knife. It's got his signature here on the side, has TKell on the back, 80 CRV2, wonderfully heat treated with that nitrite boron coating that makes it damn near indestructible. That's what gives it that tumbled finish look. It is just an absolute laser beam. Probably one of the thinner knives that I've seen come out of TKell. Just a thin little slicey EDC fixed blade. I love it. I can get comfortable too. I could easily put a lanyard through that bolt hole if I wanted to, but I can hold it just fine with that 2.5 there. This little guy is going to come in right at 4 3/4 overall with a 2 1/4 inch blade and a 2.5 inch handle there. Cutting area on this little giblet is right at 2 inches. Fantastic little knife. I've got it set up with an ulti clip, Kydex sheath. Tim makes some of the best Kydex sheaths in the game. Absolutely no rattle. Stick this in my back pocket. Just a great, great little EDC fixing. This is the TKell DP-1. Moving on, we come to another little Jason Grant art piece. This is a little custom. I'm not going to call it a JKal because it has 2 finger grips here. A little chunk of S90V that's hollow ground, with a little Wicked Wharncliffe blade, hand jimped, nice thick G10 handles here. This little guy is a utility knife extreme, whether you want to slice, whether you want to talon shred, or whether you want to stick it through somebody's head. I mean, this little knife has got a nice bowed out point here on the Wharncliffe. It is small but mighty, very thick little chunk of S90V. It's going to weigh in. You've also got a custom Jason Grant bead here and a lanyard. But this little guy is right under 4 1/8 with an right over 1.5 inch blade. And if we go from that forward choil back, 2 3/4 in the handle. And our little cutting area, as sharp as you'd ever want, is right over 1.25 inches. Right over 1.25 inches right there. Nice, beautifully hollow ground, little giblet. He's got one of his patches on the front. I carry it like I carry the others, appendix style. Great sheath, locked in for dear life. It's a little weightier knife, so it feels good on my belt. But I could carry it with an ulti clip around my neck too. But this is a custom Jason Grant little micro slicer. And I'm a huge, huge fan of Jason and his work. And this is a great little knife and no exception. Moving on, second to the last, we've got another Amsler Tools. This is an Amsler Tools standard pinion. He also has a mini pinion. I gifted it to a brother in the community. But this is a small little skeletonized piece of MagnaCut formulated to be a cutting tool, right? I wear it as a neck knife. I could easily put a clip on that sheath if I wanted to, but it is very tall, flat ground, sheep's foot blade that is as sharp as you would ever want. Very thin, very slicey. Again, it's a small blade right here, but just absolute little banger. It's got a couple of cool tricks up its sleeve. Most importantly, it weighs almost nothing. Has the O-ring here and comes with extra O-rings if you want to put them on to give you better grip. Fits this sheath very well. Locks in right there on that hole. This is going nowhere. You've also got on this back side this kind of, for lack of a better term, pry. Little area that you could use to pry. And it's also got a 1/4 inch bit driver for that backside if you ever needed to drive a bit in an emergency situation. So again, this is the Amsler Tools regular size pinion. They also make a tiny pinion, right around $100. Solid MagnaCut, little banger, super light, but great for when you just need to make a cut. You need to open that dog food. You need to cut that line. You know, it's just a great little cutter. And it's going to be our second to the smallest on the list. So it's going to come in right under 4 inches with almost an 1.5 inch blade. Little between 1.5 and 1.25 inches on the cutting area, and 2.5 inch on the handle. This is the Amsler Tools Pinion. Moving on, we come to our final little knife, and this is the MKM Maniago Knife Makers Micro 1 and the Micro 2. Micro 2 is a little sheep's foot. This is the sheath that it comes with. So it's a little leather sheath that can either be used as a neck knife or as a pocket dropper. It's a magnetic fixture right there. We'll get it out of the way and show off this one that has the Kydex carry kit that I picked up so I can carry it horizontally on my belt. But this is a Jesper Voxnez designed little knife. This is the Macro or Micro 1. The other is the Micro 2. It's perfectly balanced to where it literally balances on my finger. You've got jimping here And back here on the heel of the spine, or the heel of the handle, which is full tang, it's a solid chunk of M390 that takes an edge very, very well. The drop point is super sharp and slicey. You've got this micarta handle that if you want to, you can remove it, like on the Superlative if you want to skeletonize this. And it's also got a place for a lanyard. A great little EDC cutter. Again, not a hard use knife, but definitely a great little backup. Comes in right about 4 1/4 inches with a 2-inch blade, right under 2.5 inch for your handle here. You do have very nice choil and area for a lanyard if you want more space. But guys, these are what I call, for lack of a better term, my tiny but mighty. These are all my favorite little bitty EDC fixed blades. Again, the caveat being that 5-inch range, because I've got a lot of EDC fixed blades that fall in different kind of categories, sizes, thicknesses, things like that. But a good way for me to categorize them is based on size. You know, when I'm looking at that main size that I carry, what have I been carrying? And then I look at what are the little guys that I reach for when I'm looking for that small little get it done knife. And all of these are just winners. You've got, again, the, get them laid out here and I'll run through them one last time. I'll also link them in the description for you. So we've got the Jakeb Creates Chikadee coming in at 5 inches. We've got the Marlborough Handcraft Little Prick, the Superlative Hela, the TwoSun TS-150, a custom Jason Grant JKal, a Scott at Aries EDC Pedal, an Amsler Tools Mini Hurricane, a TKell Knives DP01 or DP-1, a little custom Jason Grant razor knife, a Amsler Tools little lightweight magna cut Pinion, and then a Vox MKM Vox collaboration called the Micro. Guys, real quickly, thank you to all my channel members. I appreciate you all. Thank you for any of you who come in here to watch my knife, my EDC content. Thank you. If you're so inclined, hit the like button. There's a video popping up over here. Give it a watch if you'd like to watch some more of my content. It would help me out. But most importantly, please look out for the guy or gal to your left. Please look out for the guy or gal to your right. Please look out for each other. Go forward with love in your hearts and choose to bait, not hate. Love you all. Peace.